Welcome to the Good Neighbors podcast. This is Shields, with your hosts, Brad Shields and Alex McKee.
Hey Shields people, we're back at Gillespie's Cigar Lounge and Bar, and this is our fifth
Wow.
podcast. Wow, time
Math.
is flying. It's hard. Math is hard. That's why we have Rob.
Do I keep looking this way?
No, you can talk
See,
to
we
me.
change sides. So.
You can talk to me, unless you're doing a
Oh,
dad
like
joke.
this.
Then you can look at the camera.
I don't have any dad jokes.
All right, well, let's kick it off. It is beautiful outside. I actually took the day off today. It was very nice.
Some of us work.
Some of us. So, for our new product release, I wanted to talk about something. It's not that exciting, but I know, not that exciting, but a good explanation to kind of explain how we grow our product lines. So, if you have a Gale CTL 80, something we recently just learned.
Send us the seeds. We'll put it in the ground, and the product line grows.
I mean, kind of, yes.
Kind of.
But we've had a CTL 80 on our product list for a while now. This was a flat skid steer door with just a gasket. There was no hardware with this replacement. Until recently, we found out there is a hardware option on some CTL 80s. So we didn't learn this until we had a part out there. The guy calls up, says, "Hey, this door's not right."
You're not looking at me either.
But I'm talking to them about the product. I think you are talkative today. Anyways. So where was I? Customer called up,
Need hardware.
told us that he needed hardware. He had a wiper. So I said, okay, that's great. No problem. We brought the door back. He sent us information on where the hardware holes. Actually, this was pretty impressive. They sent us a print with the hardware hole locations, which is neat. So we worked off that print, was able to get him another door out there. He tells us, hey, this fits great. Thank you. So now that goes to our product line. So long story short, if you're on our site, if you're looking for a replacement, and even though you don't see your door on there or your window listed, go ahead and give us a call, because more likely than not, we're going to want you to send it to us and give you one anyways.
Very good.
Oh, thanks. I think he's talkative today. He wasn't sure. But actually, it's a good thing if you're talkative today, because we're going to talk about a topic that you're really going to enjoy.
I like most topics.
You do.
You know, when I was just out of college, young, got my first job, all excited. First day I show up, my boss, really good boss, came up and said, "Brad, I want your first day to be the best day ever." I went, "Cool." So I went and golfed.
You did not. Okay. Well, it's a good thing that doesn't quite
E.P. Carrillo, 2014 number 2 cigar of the year, La Historia. Nina just got a box in for me. Fantastic cigar. Just fantastic.
That's good. I'm glad you like it. I had to read the label for him, by the way. It was
Well, I
too
knew
small.
what it was. Couldn't, yeah.
Too small.
I didn't bring my glasses.
Okay, today's main topic. So last time
Windshields.
we talked about one of our core values, integrity, and a lot that went with that. And this week I want to talk about our core value, innovation, and the different avenues that innovation takes in a business. And I think it's something you can immediately talk about innovation of a product, which we will.
Right.
But also I think there's other avenues of innovation of how you produce it, of efficiency, processes,
administration. How we administer,
how we develop and grow.
You've done a tremendous amount and a wonderful positive amount of innovation with what we're doing internally, moving forward. You got me reading a book, which I do think is should be mandatory reading. Again, it's the second book you've had me read that I probably should have been the second book I've written. No real epiphanies for me, just some nice clarifications. But the one from...
Good to know that what I'm looking at is of good value.
The one from Jim Cook on Sam Adams,
Fantastic.
Boston Brewing Company, is about marketing. Like I said, I could have written that one word for word. I mean, I didn't go into bars. I went into dealerships and shops and race teams and door to door. And marketing wasn't about charts or graphs. It was about having the best product, period. So
marketing can be very innovative too.
Oh, it can be very innovative, and that's honestly, and that's what Cook talks about in his book. That he's a Harvard business grad, and he would go back and speak to the marketing classes, and the students would challenge him. That's not marketing. And he's like, well, I'm a gazillionaire, and you're not. No, he was very innovative in his marketing. Without knowing that, we were too, in the sense of we don't sell. Our marketing, our innovation is education. We get you to be aware of what we have, learn what it can do for you, how it can do for you, and and that's it. And now we have marketing strategies, but other innovation, and we're not ready to talk about it yet, is what our next step is with our product.
Mm-hmm.
But innovation is something that our company was founded on. Innovation really was my father in a nutshell. He could see something in the motorcycle industry, the fairing industry. He saw a need when people didn't know they had a need, and his innovation, a one-piece, all clear, fairing with a mounting system that would pop off if you were to hit it. Just amazing. And of course, it was copied, from all over. Guys at National Cycle still copy it. But if you want to spend your dollars there, whatever, that's fine. You can get Bud Light too. Anyway, where was I? Innovation.
Yeah. I figured this would be a fun rabbit hole conversation.
Yeah, really it is. Innovation, though, isn't okay. With my dad, innovation was top down. Okay. And it was funny growing up, I saw innovation. I'm not being silly, but it's small. I saw innovation this way. And it's difficult to bring something innovative to an innovator.
Yes.
Because an innovator, an entrepreneur, someone like that, their mind gets focused down a tunnel. And someone with the genius of my father, that tunnel was always great, but it's still a tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And as a coach, when I was coaching football, I wanted to be innovative. I think we all do. I think all coaches, and you talk about, the West Coast offense. Well, I won't go into football. There's a lot of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be a high school football coach and be innovative because I don't have a kid over 210 pounds. I don't have a kid that can run a sub 4.9 40.
You play with the cards you're given.
Right. So you're not innovative in your X's and O's. You're innovative in how you use what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the big stepping stones or big grad school moments, getting my master's in the world of work and innovation. How can I take this group of young men? You have to have intent. You have to have dedication, hard work, loyalty. You have to have that stuff, right? Once you have that, how do you then produce it? So we have to have our polycarbonate has to be a certain quality. Our chemicals have to come in at a certain everything. Everything we do, our tools, everything has to have a given.
Yep.
Our given.
Our standard.
Our standard, and it's changed. It's when I say risen, it's changed. We've even had very recent discussions, even of a heated nature, with our vendors. We know what we want. Don't try to sell us what you think we need.
Don't
that's
put
something.
A square peg in a round hole.
Excuse me. Yeah. Well, the hole that we've created is our own geometry. It is unlike anybody else's geometry.
Yep.
We're not a square peg. We're not a round hole. We're
us.
Yeah. So, but innovation is ongoing.
It's exciting.
But when I talk about innovation bubbling up, I learned a lot with football. I learned a lot with how to take what you have. But my dad and I did something, not on our Shields line. It's really the only real product we make that is not in our Shields line now. We do a few widgets here and there.
Yeah.
We're not out bidding any jobs.
We got nothing new.
But right after TWA Flight 80 blew up over Long Island, just horrific. United Airlines had a maintenance hub in Indianapolis at the time, and Dad kept going in there trying to, just bust his ass on, seats, armrest, anything we knew vacuum forming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're getting just destroyed by everybody on the West Coast with all their giant machines, and but the TWA flight went down, and what happened is there's no coating, there's no insulation, on the wires in an airplane. There's miles of wire that it would be too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So all they are painted for identification, very susceptible. And as they do maintenance on the airplanes and work on it, metal shavings or swarf will fall down into that bundles. And as they vibrate over time, the paint gets worn off. You can get an arc. They had one in the wing by a fuel tank and a horrific, deadly explosion. So as we're up at United, we're noticing these guys are trying to do all kinds of innovative stuff within the hangar. These are non-airworthy planes. They're brought in. They're made non-airworthy to be refurbished.
And that's a big aspect when it comes to working in the airline industry.
Yes. We only supply things for non-airworthy. Then they get recertified after they're done. That's great for us. And my attorney is like, yes. But so we're watching these guys try to be innovative and try to capture this so it doesn't get to the wiring. Well, Dad and I put our heads together in some time, and we came up with our debris trap tray. There is nothing like it. It's easy to use. It's easy to, it does its job. It catches everything. If it's done even 80% properly, I shouldn't say that, but we try to make it LCD.
Yep.
One thing with innovation, apologize, I know it's got to sound horrible, but innovation, in my opinion, especially manufacturing, and I'm not talking the product, but this is talking product, but has to be LCD, which is
least common denominator.
Yes, and we talk about that all the time. If Albert Einstein can figure out the math problem and he gives it to the masses, it doesn't do any good because the lowest common denominator can't figure it out.
Yep.
So it's innovation, but it's not practical, not useful. So we made this very practical. Long story short, I was invited, Dad and I were, and to speak in Washington, D.C. in front of the National Transportation Safety Board. And that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I see the pictures. You had all brown, reddish hair.
Yes, I do. And we could stand right in front of the White House at the time and still get our pictures taken. And wow, what a day! It was very intimidating.
I would have been sweating. I would have been sweating so bad.
Yeah, but once I started speaking again, I had this product that was phenomenal. Made it a lot easier. And then the Mechanics Union of all approved it. Flew Dad and I to Pittsburgh. Nope, just me. I don't think Dad went, actually. I don't think he did. But anyway, flew me to Pittsburgh so I could address all the union at their annual meeting. And it's funny. They gave me this really badass briefcase, and I still carry that briefcase to this day.
The leather, the soft one,
my leather one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now my one REMC board, no, that's got different stuff in it. But my work one all has that in there.
That's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But that was innovation in a product, not in how to make it. Our innovation in our product is literally that we have it. Glass breaks, glass sucks, glass is...
The product in itself is innovation.
Yeah, glass is a limiter to your performance, a limiter to your profit, a limiter to your safety. We're not.
No.
So that type of innovation is what jumped us off. Now, the innovation you want to talk about probably...
I love it all.
Is, when we first started, Joe and I hand cut every freaking Corvette and Mustang window we did. You draw a line, you cut it close, you finish it with we grew up on belt sanders. It's funny, we're all bigger guys, so a big belt sander wasn't a problem. I've used die grinders on small parts when I've gone to fix things before, or in shops and places. But, then we made routing fixtures, so we'd hand route. And we were doing some hand routing for face shields and stuff at the time that were free-form.
Mhm.
And we routed in acrylic. We routed acrylic fairings forever. So we had a lot of experience with hand routing, but formed finished polycarbonate is a little bit different animal too.
Than acrylic.
And
Yeah.
Dad and I would talk about and dream about. There's these things out there called 5-axis and 3-axis CNC routers, robots that route.
Yep.
And so we started searching. We never had budgets. I know she wants budgets.
I want guardrails.
We didn't have budgets. We went and we looked at Southern Indiana, a company that had CNC. Great woodworking. It's a great company. I have nothing bad to say about the company, but they couldn't route a riot shield without a chatter line. The world wasn't the only people at that time CNC routing polycarbonate in a finished state was those that were working on the military canopies, Techstars, Sierra, a couple of these monsters that were, well, I bet they're close to $1 billion company. Saracen might be now, making these military, it's a whole different world and never really went to venture into there.
No.
Well, the machines they had were pretty much on-site built and so forth, and it wasn't going to work. Stumbled onto Anderson, America. They had a very big old, thick, heavy, like the fat kid in football. Like, what are we going to do with him? Well, let's put him here. Don't make him move a whole lot, but you got to do. And
do his job.
24 years later, I still got that fat kid working his ass off.
Yes,
so
he's got arthritis and some concussions.
Yeah, we gave him some concussions early on. Yeah. But he still chugs away.
He does.
Then we found a 5-axis router that was, I tell everybody, well, let's go back to innovation real quick. I'll tell you that story. We got one of our first OEM. What's OEM?
Original engineering manufacturing? Equipment manufacturing. Yeah. That's right.
OEM is where you sell to
direct.
Caterpillar. You sell to John Deere direct.
B2B.
Yeah. So our first OEM, that's not true. My first OEM account was Bobcat, but we were only doing like 50 a year on the original replacements.
Yeah, that's
so. But I got it on a cold call, a freaking cold call. A receptionist put me through to the head of engineering at Bobcat, and we talked. That was great. It was great times.
Yeah, you don't get that anymore.
No, you don't. Oh no, not even at trade shows. Oh, he's too busy. Whatever. How are you too busy at trade shows? I know you guys aren't probably watching, but how the F are you too busy at trade shows now that you're head of engineering to show the hell up at a trade show and learn something new? There's your cat and deer people all the time, and I'll call you guys out. You're too damn important to learn something new. You're not innovative. I could lecture them later. Anyway, so I was somewhere.
Quincy. Not Quincy.
Yeah, Quintax. But so we got our first OEM account doing skylights for an excavator for Caterpillar, and very tough form. It was developed as an injection molded part, and they still wanted that injection molded look and stuff like that. So it was a bitch of a form, but it's even a worse trimming job because we had undercuts and back cuts. And so Joe and I, and we had Chuck working for us at the time, and the three of us are the same height, same basic build. Joe's a lot skinnier than me now, but we're still all built the same. So we set up these fixtures. We had 3 stations that the three of us would route. We had the original, and Chuck would do the original out routing. Joe would do all the plunge routing and the holes. And because I was the boss's kid and the youngest and by far the strongest, I did the horribly stupid horizontal routing with the routing bit coming out this way, sticking away from me with a 3/4 inch bit that I had to dip down. I started here and to come up and work it across and back down. Terrifying. I mean, terrifying. Loud, break out, break We have good days. We would get 20 parts done a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we did. I didn't take phone calls. I didn't do all
Just
this
routed.
shit. We got there and we routed. And it took the three of us. We got 20 a day. When we got the Quinn tax, we were doing 22 an hour.
That's actually really fast in the grand scheme of still 5-axis routing. 22 an hour is flying.
Understand this.
I mean, it's different parts.
I was a little more aggressive than my team of engineers are today. I break a bit every now and then. I didn't give a shit. Understand this. We were used to ripping them out.
Yeah.
So when JT and I first started programming that first one, it's like, well, this is a safe. I'm like, well, there's a dial that goes over 100%. I'm like, what the hell? Let's dial that shit up. We did that. We went through a lot of bits. We jumped. What we do now is smarter. Not nearly as like bar fight mentality, but that's okay.
We don't have to have
you're
that
right. We
anymore.
Don't. But my point was 20. I always tell people, 22 an hour, no smoke breaks, doesn't bitch about the Colts, doesn't fight with its wife or its significant other, doesn't have to take its dog to the vet, doesn't run late because of other things. It just cuts. That was the innovation we brought in that changed our house. Now we have, 7?
6.
I just bought
6 and a table laser.
And a giant laser.
Yeah.
I just bought Anderson's new giant brother.
Mm-hmm. Giant.
24 years younger and so much stronger, faster, smarter. Doesn't have the personality.
Yeah, it's great.
But is phenomenal. And we just bought
We're okay without a personality.
I don't know. And Andy's cool. But the 5-axis, the new 5-axis that Anderson is doing is
fast.
Is a terrifyingly wonderful machine.
It is fast.
It's innovative. It's to the nth degree for our world. We had to build it in the house. We had to assemble it, which was kind of cool. I wasn't there. Your mom and I were gone.
You were?
It was the first time we brought a machine in.
Very surprised.
I wasn't there. Our guys were fantastic. He said, I've never seen it set it well. I've had one guy, Terry, has preset all my machines now for the last 20-some years. And he knows a lot of tricks and stuff like that. So that's innovation in technology of machinery. Talk about the innovation, which has been a dream of mine forever. Mm-hmm. I knew I wanted to be paperless.
Yeah.
I thought I could just do it with a spreadsheet and a shared file. Apparently not. So how we?
No, not quite. We were in the hole about a year, coming up on 2 years since we pulled the trigger on this project. And this project is, we're going from paper manufacturing orders, paper work orders to an ERP system. And it has been a bitch. It's been rough.
We do one process
1,000
different ways. Yeah.
With over 4,000 SKU numbers that I'm having to clean up and delete old and get rid of these. And we have about 600 active SKU numbers. But the beautiful thing is we actually really small because it's like 4 items, maybe.
It's like a Mexican restaurant. There's only a few ingredients that are used.
Bunch of different ways.
That's it.
But
my friend Tom Haney will give you a lecture. There's 5 ingredients, and that's all there is, and it doesn't matter. But go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. Actually,
shout out to Tom.
Shout out to Tom. We actually, God must have realized I wasn't making progress like I should have and wasn't going to. So we actually.
You don't have to call me God, honey. That's fine.
I'm not calling you God.
I mean, I was like, ooh.
No, Paul proposed the job to us and sold me on it. So we brought Paul on.
We have a full-time
IT manager.
Professional. He's way overqualified.
For what we do. Fantastic work. And he's actually kind of restarted all of what we've done because we weren't doing it that well. And creating us a true data-centered platform that's going to track inventory and production and even have a live screen of of where work orders are and the progress and when they're moving and
it's, it's out there.
Incredible
Your
stuff.
brother,
Mhm.
my son Bo, when he first went to Fiat Chrysler right out of college, at the transmission plant doing transmissions, went up and visited him, and he had those giant 3 boards, and he could go through all his transmission lines down to the freaking nanosecond
and see everything
of what they were doing. Now, this is Fiat Chrysler.
So we're just starting.
Yes.
It all started with a grant. That grant, we got going with it. We actually had to start with Wi-Fi. We didn't have the dream of having paperless couldn't happen without
Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi. So that was actually probably the biggest chunk of our budget, but we've not had a single issue with it.
No, we haven't, because we're all out of buildings and we weren't going to run Ethernet everywhere. That was
so we have 20 some access points.
Yeah, we do.
It works really well. Our team's adjusting to the tablet system.
Yep.
We're actually, our first purchase order on MISIS should go out next week.
Right.
I told Paul I'm a little nerdish. It's probably a little weird, but I want to print out of that and I want to put it on my wall.
You should. Last freaking piece of paper ever.
No, so there's levels of these systems, and right now this is where we're at. 5-10 years, it'd be nice. We'll probably advance into a better system, but it's funny. Innovation, I guess, a lot of the innovation we're talking about right now is technology and its aid and its help, but there's so much more to the innovation too.
And see, here's a nice thing. I'm at a really great age. I'm very serious about that because
I'm only 28.
I go back to my grandfather.
I feel like a child.
Did not know my dad's dad very well, but he wrote a couple of stories, small books on this thing. So he was born before the turn of the century, the 1900th century. So he was born not too long after the Civil War. He was born with the best you had was horse-drawn carriages, to where he saw, before he died, man walk on the moon. I mean, the most unbelievable. Okay.
Crazy.
I've gone through, when I first took in high school, we took typing. Then my senior year, they offered a keyboard class.
I had that in middle school.
Which was DOS. Go to, run. And it was cool, right? Because we could do this stupid little thing and you get this flower, with squares and circles and whatever. It was really advanced. It's funny though. Another story. The person sitting right next to me in that class in 1984, one of the original, the Fearsome Five was our gang. We were original, and we only was 5. We never added a 6th. Sorry, Steve. You almost got voted in, but you never did. But sitting next to me was Chris Sheets, one of the Fearsome Five, who went on to IU with me. And I played football. He went to class. And
he's retired.
Chris took software to a different level.
Yeah.
On database, especially with criminal justice and so forth. And sold his companies a couple times over. We're re-enjoying a reconnecting time now. He's still not smoking cigars, but it's great to go back to kid that you got paddled in elementary school because him, but I couldn't let him get paddled alone, so I had to get paddled too. It was always Chris, never me. To see what he's done with technology, but I've gone through that system. I look at coaching. We started out in coaching with reel-to-reel film. Mm-hmm. As I was finishing being a head coach, we had, of course, VHS tapes, and we had software. We could cut the tape and make a cut-up tape. Mm-hmm. To where, as Bo was finishing up and I was still coaching, we had Huddle. We had this online editing system.
I remember that, yeah.
And I watched that. It's the same thing in manufacturing. My whole point with this is innovation is great. I know we're getting short.
You're good.
You knew I'd talk for a while.
I know.
Innovation without fundamentals is a Band-Aid.
It's expensive chaos.
It's worthless. At the end of the day, it's worthless. It probably costs you money. It's detrimental.
A ton of money.
So let's go back to hand routing, cutting and sanding, then hand routing, then to the CNC, the fundamentals of routing, knowing what polycarbonate sounds like, smells like, tastes like, because the shit gets in your mouth. You know that, and you put that into your knowledge with the machine and technology. you're able to really do some good things.
So essentially, as we're wrapping up here, the last minute, I think it's actually kind of cool that this came to a different conclusion than I anticipated actually happening. The innovation, in a sense, with technology is only good if you maintain the fundamentals to be able to make it good.
Absolutely.
And not even just in how you deal with our plastic, but how you deal with customers as a team, working with people. There's a baseline there that if you let go of, your innovation is nothing.
Right. And that's something we're finding out right now. We're working on it with Shields University.
We're at that age.
Yeah, we're at that age where we have
years.
some fundamentals. People are doing a great job. They're doing their job that they've been trained and told. But anytime
it's not
the boat rocks a little bit over here, they don't have, it's not their fault. It's 100% my fault. They don't necessarily have those fundamentals. When our CNCs will go down, we jump right back on and start hand routing.
Yeah.
Well, I used to always make backup fixtures.
Yeah.
In fact, our first fixtures we made for the machines were actually our hand route fixtures.
And now we don't have space for that.
And we don't have, yes, we don't.
But it makes a lot of sense. Shields Universities, I think, hopefully we get going this year is going to be really important because we're at 50 years. We're at third generation in a sense. And I'm almost 5 years to the company now, full time. So
I'm 25 full time.
Yeah. The full
57 part time.
The phone game, is getting to a point where our senior employees are in jobs where they don't have time to pass it on. So we have to build that in our system. And I would say that's where our innovation is going.
Yeah,
back to the foundation.
And it's not like a sexy, exciting innovation.
No, it's
fundamental
dreary.
Innovation. I'll go back to another fundamental innovation that blew my mind. It wasn't out there, but I'm seeing the fruition of it more so than just with you and your. But as I watch the Caitlin Clarks and these women basketball players now, when you first started in athletics, girls were not treated like boys in training.
Nope.
When you got to college, even you had teammates that had never been trained like a boy, or I'll forget that damn word,
athlete.
As an athlete. So we've
got a pigeonhole, guys.
Right, but the fact that they were never taught to backpedal or fall down and get up.
No, they were trained in their sport, not as an athlete, and even then, they weren't trained to get strong. The culture's changed
direction
so much.
Yeah, and so that goes back to the same fundamentals. If you can't backpedal, and we went through this, bowling and billiards may be the only two things that
Those are games.
Don't need to back up. Okay,
Probably.
In golf, you don't really back up.
Golf's a game.
Okay.
Golf games and sports are different.
Okay. All right, I'll give you that. But in any athletic event, you got to move backwards, and most of your greatest athletes spend most of the time moving backwards, and that's why defense will always be greater than offense because they don't know what you're doing.
When you look at the camera,
they have to do it backwards. They have to react to everything you're doing. You call a play in the huddle. You know when the ball is going to get snapped. How can you ever mess up as an offense? You're weak-minded. Defense, you have to be tough. You have to be athletic. You have to be focused. Just telling you, it's so all of those offensive coaches out there, great. You guys are wonderful. Go sleep well while we work hard.
Oh, my gosh. Well, and on that offensive note.
And that's why the Colts drafted the first defensive player yesterday in the draft. And I'm very happy with that.
We'll see you guys next time.
My name is Shields, and I make windshields.
Thank you for tuning in to the This is Shields podcast. To learn more about Shields and our commitment to windshields with performance-proven toughness, visit us at shieldswindshields.com. For any inquiries or to explore our range of products, give us a call at 1-800-554-7527. For quick assistance, you can also text us at 765-913-8121. Stop by our headquarters at 1000 Industrial Drive in Martinsville, Indiana, to experience firsthand the excellence we put into every product we make. For any further information or questions, feel free to send an email to info@shieldswindshields.com. We'd love to hear from you. Once again, thank you for tuning into this episode of the This is Shields podcast. Keep pushing the boundaries of performance and stay inspired.